What is the researcher doing? A small cluster of cells from the plant is transferred from the Petri dish into a conical flask in the laboratory. The solution in the conical flask contains salt and water at the appropriate pH to provide suitable conditions for the cells. The cells divide and develop into different types of tissue, such as epidermis, to form a plant. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to list the contribution of genetic research in various fields. What is genetic research? Genetic research is a scientific study of inheritance. Genetic research involves studies in medicine, cloning, agriculture, genetic fingerprinting, genetically modified food. How does genetic research help us? Genetic research involves study in medicine. The contribution of genetic research in medicine include the discovery of hereditary diseases such as 1. Down syndrome, 2. Thalassemia, 3. Cystic fibrosis, 4. Huntington's disease, 5. Hemophilia. Click the diseases to get further details. Down syndrome. It is caused by a change in the number of chromosomes. The number of chromosomes is 47 instead of 46 in a normal person. A person with Down syndrome has a flat, round face, slanted eyes, and mental retardation. Thalassemia. It is caused by changes in genes. The person has broken red cells, causing inadequate hemoglobin to carry oxygen. Cystic fibrosis. Caused by a defective gene which produces an abnormally thick and sticky mucus, clogs the lungs and leads to lung infections. Huntington's disease. It results from degeneration of brain cells called neurons. Causes uncontrolled movements and emotional disturbance. Early symptoms are depression, trouble in driving, and learning new things. The patient may have difficulty in feeding himself or herself and swallowing. Hemophilia. It is a blood clotting disorder. Symptoms include bruising and internal bleeding at joints, bleeding following surgery and injury. Contribution of genetic research in the field of medicine. Do you know the latest technique for treating diseases? The patient in the picture is injecting insulin into his body. He has a disease called diabetes. A person who has diabetes needs a constant supply of insulin to control his blood sugar level. Diabetics use insulin from animal source, but these sometimes produce side effects. Through a field of genetic research called genetic engineering, bacteria are used to make human insulin. Have you heard of the Human Genome Project? The Human Genome Project is also a part of genetic research. What is the Human Genome Project? Click the picture to find out. In this kind of research, scientists identify all the genes in the human chromosomes. They also find the location of all the genes on the human chromosome. This information is called the human genome, and it forms a database of the genetic information about human beings. What are the contributions of the Human Genome Project to humans? Have you heard of the Human Genome Project? The Human Genome Project is also a part of genetic research. What is the Human Genome Project? Click the picture to find out. In this kind of research, scientists identify all the genes in the human chromosomes. They also find the location of all the genes on the human chromosome. This information is called the human genome, and it forms a database of the genetic information about human beings. What are the contributions of the Human Genome Project to humans? Faulty genes that cause certain diseases can be replaced by healthy genes. Early treatment for specific diseases can be suggested. Genetic research in forensic science. Genetic research has also been applied in forensic science. From which part of the body can scientists extract DNA? To get the DNA fingerprints, any part of the body that contains cells can be used. It could be blood, hair, body tissue, or even sperm. DNA profile of the suspect can be obtained. This technique can be used in a crime case. Click the DNA fingerprints. Contributions of genetic research in the field of agriculture. Let us now have a look at the contributions of genetic research in the field of agriculture. Do you know what is this? Click on this picture to learn about its characteristics. This is a palm fruit. The mesocarp of the palm gives us oil. Through genetic research, we can produce new variety of palm fruit with better quality like this. This new variety produces more oil because it has a thicker mesocarp. New varieties of plants can be developed through genetic research. These varieties include greater number of fruits, more seeds of fruits or product, grows and matures faster, can grow in unfavorable conditions, produces higher yield, more resistant to diseases. Some examples of agricultural products produced through genetic research. Can you name some examples of fruit which are the products of selective breeding? Click the boxes given and find out what they are. The Exotica Papaya. This type of papaya matures fast. The tree bears many fruits. The durian D24. This fruit has thick flesh and tastes better than the normal durians. The Seedless Guava. This fruit does not have any seeds and tastes sweeter than the ordinary guava. The honey maize. This type of maize grows and matures faster. It also tastes more creamy. Genetically modified food. Some plants and animals are produced through genetic modification. In these plants, their genes are modified so that they have all the good qualities desired. Genetic modification produces plants or animals that are called genetically modified food, or commonly called GMF. Genetic modification produces many new varieties of plants. Click the picture to find out. Genetically modified plants have chosen genes incorporated into their cells, and these plants produce new plants with these special qualities. The first few plants that were genetically modified were the tobacco, tomatoes, and potatoes. Another area in genetic research is cloning. Do you know what a clone is? Can you call your twin sister your clone? The first cloned animal was a sheep called Dolly. We can produce a clone using any of the body cell. This is a form of asexual reproduction. About cloning. Click the picture to find out. A clone is an identical copy of an organism. We can clone genes, plants, animals, or organs. We can produce a clone using any cell of the body except the sperm and ovum. Cloning is a form of asexual reproduction. This means that we do not need the male or female gamete. An advantage of cloning is that we can produce a high-quality plant in large numbers. This is how good quality palm trees are produced. One disadvantage of cloning is it can be misused and endanger lives. Tissue culture. In tissue culture, a small cluster of cells from a plant is removed and transferred from a petri dish to a conical flask in the laboratory. The cells are provided with nutrients, Water at the appropriate pH. The cells divide, develop to different types of tissues to form a plant. Contribution of genetic research. Medicine. Discovery of diseases. Latest technique for treating diseases. Human Genome Project. Forensic science. DNA fingerprints. Agriculture. New varieties. Genetically modified food. Cloning. Tissue culture.
Solving a murder case. The case. A very famous film star was murdered last night. Police found his body in the dressing room of the film studio. He had stab wounds in his abdomen. There was a clear sign of struggle at the scene. The last time he was seen alive, witnesses saw him arguing with 3 men. All of them threatened to kill him. Who killed the film star? Your role. You are the forensic scientist appointed to find evidence as who had done the murder. What would be the steps that you need to take to find the proof? These are the DNA fingerprints obtained from the 3 suspects. And this is the DNA fingerprint of the blood found on the murdered film star. Who do you think is the murderer? Find a match by dragging it to the 3 DNA fingerprints. Perfect match. An advantage of genetic research is A. Producing better fuel source. B. Will be able to clone dinosaurs. C. Producing better building material. D. Will produce new plant variety.
Your answer is correct.
Which field of study is not related to genetic research? A. Glass making. B. Waste disposal. C. Forensic science. D. Producing new medicine.
Your answer is correct.
What are the contributions in genetic research to various fields? 1. Medicine. 2. Cloning. 3. Agriculture. 4. Tissue culture.
Your answer is correct.
Which is not an advantage of genetic research in plants? A. Matures faster. B. Have bigger fruits. C. Have bigger plants. D. More resistant to diseases.
Your answer is correct.
How does genetic research contribute to forensic science? A. Can identify the exact time of murder. B. Can help to trace the relatives of the murderer. C. Help to identify the person involved by the way he speaks. D. Help to identify the person involved through DNA fingerprinting.
Your answer is correct.